So what is causing so much selling pressure for the market? What's going on, guys? Here with a super quick stock market update. I really hope that I earn your thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. So just a few hours ago, Donald Trump announced that he is going to hit Japan with a tariff. Again, this is following after last weekend where he said he would hit both Canada and Mexico with a tariff, and then finding a solution of delaying those tariffs by Monday. One thing that I talked about in today's earlier video is the importance of understanding how volatile the markets are bound to be during the early stages of Trump's administration. I've said this from the very beginning. Markets were pushing up very aggressively as soon as Trump was announced the winner. The part that really surprised me is that if you understand his policies and the ideas of these tariffs in the short term, right? Because we don't really know, we hope that in the long term it pays off, right? With these tariffs. But in the short term, there's going to be short-term pain. And that's the part that just really caught me off guard, where if these tariffs are implemented, the tariffs will always, the price increase will always get passed down to the consumer. And if that's the case, then they will reflect a higher rate of inflation on our CPI reports. And if that's the case, then inflation will begin to go up. And then if that's the case, then the Federal Reserve might have to change its course and previous expectation for 2025. And that's the part that I did just not understand of, why are the markets getting ahead of themselves again? But again, it always does this. Now, do you need to be freaking out or anything like that? No, just like I said in today's earlier video, the market's been very volatile. If you see kind of like where we're at right now and where we were last week and the week before that, we're flat. That's the thing that I want you to understand, is that I feel like a lot of beginners are being very surprised by the way that the market is trading. But if you really think about it, with what happened with DeepSeek, and then last week with the Canada and Mexico tariffs, we're trading within the same highs of QQQ, which is the NASDAQ 1-for-1 ETF. That's why I'm using it. Some people use SPY. I can use SPY if you prefer that. It's all the same thing. They're all testing the same resistance range and same general support range. That is why on both Instagram and on YouTube, I said, hey, we can't predict the future. Let's not pretend like we can, but we can prepare for it. And we should not be surprised that these tariffs will instill volatility and create very volatile markets. And some solutions might not come as quick as the solutions that we saw the past weekend from Canada and from Mexico. It seems like they gave in pretty quick. It seems like other countries might be giving in pretty quick. I can't imagine that all countries are going to be giving in as quick with these tariffs. And when they don't, then there could be an actual trade war. Again, it's not about predicting the future, because none of us can do that. I can't, you can't, no one can. But we can always prepare, because Trump has made it very clear he will leverage these tariffs to be able to properly negotiate in hopes long-term in the U.S. favor, right? But in the short term, if these tariffs are implemented, the average American will feel the pain. But again, we've talked about this. Hopefully short-term pain for long-term gain. I know a lot of people might be against these tariffs, but nonetheless, we can't be surprised. You can be against it, you can be for them. All you should understand is that markets are bound to be volatile. So what's a solution then, right? Well, understanding the high points and the low points based off of recent conditions, that's if markets find a support and begin to recover because, the administration found a quick solution. But what happens if maybe they implement these tariffs to Japan or to China, and then the solution is not so quick? Then can we go lower? Of course. And I think that's what the markets have been showing us, is that we are kind of struggling to make new highs. A lot of you guys have recently seen that big tech has began to report earnings, and a lot of them are dropping. Yet the market is still trying to come back up and retest highs of 610 for SPY or for QQQ right around that 530 per share. This should not surprise you. It should just make you aware, right? If we look at the larger time frames, markets are still incredibly bullish, and there is no break of pattern just yet. The only thing that I love to share within these levels, right, and you guys know that I prefer to be more bearish than bullish, is you don't need to sell all of your positions. You just have to be mindful of the positions you take at these levels, just in case there is a retracement because of these tariff news or whatever the Trump administration begins to do to try to negotiate. That if there is some short-term volatility, it would really suck if you're aggressively invested at all-time highs and then you have no more money to be able to buy the dip on if markets do pull back and you have no more money left to be able to pick up those good deals. That's all I'm here to kind of share with you guys. It was an amazing day for our LPP team. So many of our traders did such a beautiful job shorting the NASDAQ market. And for those that don't know, even if you don't short, you can always jump into SQQQ. This is not a position you want to hold for a long period of time, but it's an ETF that goes up when the NASDAQ market goes down. As you can see, it trades at 3 times whatever the NASDAQ market trades. It gained 3.92%. We also saw a beautiful sell-off on PLTR, which was actually quite surprising. It peaked at highs of 116 even when the NASDAQ market was dropping, and then finally began to sell off and now retracing during the extended hours. It'd be really interesting to see if this thing ultimately begins to correct itself, as it's become very overbought within a short period of time. Even, again, heavily invested people into PLTR are saying, hey, I don't plan to sell PLTR, but it is overbought, right? I wouldn't buy any at these levels. I'm just watching it. I'm amazed with how much it's pushing. And again, that's a good thing to kind of understand. Some people are just appreciating the growth, but then also some people are taking into consideration, man, this thing might be overbought and due for a slight little correction, but just be very careful because it is incredibly bullish. And then of course, not last but not least, you guys know that I can't make a video without talking shit on MSTR. Again, MSTR at one point was up 5 or 6%. And I want to thank the person on YouTube that reminded me of, hey, Ricky, how do you feel now about MSTR? Because it was up 5%. And again, I shared a post out to my LPP team, made them all aware that we were retesting previous highs. A bunch of our LPP traders ended up opening up a short and rode it all the way back down. So I appreciate the heads up. You made me aware of an overbought stock. We shorted it into the retracement, and that was 4% downside. So again, while you bag held your stock, that is the infinite money glitch, we opened up a short position, made money, took profits, and now we get to enjoy our weekend while you still continue to hold that bag. What a beautiful way to end the week. Again, we like to keep trading super simple. It's not personal. All it is, it's a trade opportunity. We don't marry the stock. We don't care that much about it. It's if it meets our criteria, we trade it, we make our money, and we bounce. There's nothing else to it. If you ever want to join my live trading session to watch me trade live so you can see it happen live in real time, I do it live every single day, Monday through Friday, right when the market is open. I'll see you there. Second link in the description down below. If you ever want to tune on in, click that link, and I'll see you on Monday at market open for our live session. I hope that earned a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Happy Friday, team.